The message I sent to the wrong number changed everything. Olivia glared at her phone as if it had just insulted her entire family. Another message from her boss. Need that report ASAP. At 7 p.m. on a Friday. Perfect. Apparently having a personal life was just a scheduling error. She texted her friend Zoe. I swear, if this micromanager says just a few minutes one more time, I'll reply that the only thing quick here will be my resignation. Period. Send. Deep breath. She shoved her phone into her bag and stormed off for coffee. Double shot of caffeine, double shot of frustration. But when she came back to her desk, there was a reply. Not from Zoe, from an unknown number. Quite the statement for a Friday night. Should I be worried about the building's safety, or was that just a metaphor? Olivia's heart plummeted. She had typed one wrong digit, an 8 instead of a 3. And now some stranger had just read her unfiltered work meltdown. Olivia. Oh no, 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 that wasn't for you. Please pretend you saw nothing. Unknown. Hard to forget such a poetic thread of resignation. Do you write corporate dramas, or does all your creativity go to your boss? Her face burned. Was he teasing her? Olivia. He's the only one who deserves my creative breakdowns. Unknown. Must be quite the boss to inspire such passion. Olivia. You have no idea. Today he asked me to come in on Saturday to discuss a few things. Like I'm some kind of on-call robot. Unknown. On-call robot. Love that. Might use it later. Olivia. Use it? For what exactly? Unknown. Let's just say, I think a lot about corporate life. What else did he do to make you want to ride off into the sunset? And somehow, she talked to that stranger for an entire hour about impossible deadlines, pointless meetings, her stolen ideas, the so-called constructive feedback that felt more like destruction. And he understood. Every word. He joked like someone who'd lived it too. Unknown. Let me guess. He also says, let's circle back to that later whenever he wants to ignore your point. Olivia. Wait, how do you know that? Unknown. Let's just say, I've met his kind. Olivia. You've got a bad boss too? Unknown. Something like that. Anyway, I've got a meeting in 5, but thanks. Unexpected therapy session. Totally worth it. Olivia. Sorry for dumping all that on a stranger. Unknown. Don't apologize. Best conversation I've had all week. Olivia stared at her screen, smiling like an idiot. Zoe was going to lose her mind when she heard about this. Monday. Olivia walked into Apex Dynamics with her usual vanilla latte, and surprisingly, a good mood. A weekend of anonymous texting had done wonders. Until she checked her inbox. Subject, mandatory all-staff meeting, 10 a.m., executive board. Of course. Another think-outside-the-box pep talk wrapped in corporate nonsense, she muttered. The main hall was packed. Olivia squeezed into the back row beside Zoe. Zoe. Any idea what this is about? Olivia. Probably another round of impossible goals and fake smiles. Then HR stepped up to the stage. Good morning, everyone. As you know, our CEO has been away for personal reasons. He's back today and wants to meet those he hasn't spoken to yet. Please welcome Ethan Callahan. A man walked onto the stage. Perfect gray suit, loosened tie, artfully messy hair, a confident smile. Olivia nearly forgot how to breathe. That smile. She knew that smile. He glanced at his phone, then scanned the crowd, and stopped. Right. On her. His smile faltered, then curved into something almost amused. No, 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 this couldn't be happening. Ethan Callahan, the CEO, the stranger she'd been texting all weekend, founder of Apex Dynamics. The mysterious person she had been texting with was him. And her? She had spent her Friday night ranting about corporate tyranny to the owner of the entire company. Glad to be back, Ethan said into the mic, but his gaze stayed locked on Olivia, sharp as a laser sight. I'm looking forward to connecting with everyone, especially our most outspoken talents. Zoe jabbed Olivia in the ribs. Why do you look like you're having a heart attack? Because I am, Olivia hissed. My career is officially over. Ethan kept talking. Something about quarterly reports, innovation, the usual CEO fluff. Olivia heard none of it. She was too busy calculating the odds of passing through the wall like a ghost. No luck. because Ethan had just finished his speech, and now, next week, I'll be holding one-on-one meetings with key staff members. Olivia Bennett from Digital Marketing. Please stay behind after the meeting. I'd like to discuss upcoming initiatives. Discuss initiatives. Zoe's jaw dropped. Liv, the CEO, just said your name. I'm aware, Olivia whispered. I'm also seriously considering fleeing to Canada. The meeting ended. People laughed, whispered, filed out. Olivia genuinely considered hiding under the table, but too late. It was just her and Ethan Callahan now, and that smile of his. Way too warm. So, he began casually, leaning on the table's edge. Freelance work, huh? Robot assistant? Olivia wished the floor would swallow her whole. I can explain. I really hope so, he said, a teasing spark in his eyes. Because your weekend plans sounded fascinating. I wasn't planning to quit, she blurted. He laughed, a real laugh. It changed his whole face. Relax, breathe. I'm not firing you, not even close. Want to know why? Ethan straightened, took a step closer, that dangerous glint of amusement still flickering. Because that conversation on Friday? It was the most honest feedback I've gotten in 6 months. And honestly, I'm curious. He moved even closer. Who exactly is that control-obsessed boss you described so vividly? Olivia blinked, and then it hit her, like a freight train. I was complaining about Brendan, my direct manager, Brendan Foster. Ah, Ethan nodded slowly, interest flickering in his expression. How convenient. I've been reevaluating leadership methods across the company. Your observations on management efficiency are quite valuable. Is this some complicated form of termination? It's an invitation for coffee. He pulled out a sleek business card and handed it to her. My personal number, today, 6 p.m., that little cafe on 5th Street. I want the full truth, off the record. Olivia took the card. Her hands refused to steady. Ethan smiled again, the same smile from their messages. Next time you feel like starting a corporate revolution, you have my direct number now. They say I'm a pretty good listener. He left, whistling a tune, just walked out. Olivia stared at the card, then at her phone, then back at the card. I'm doomed, she whispered to the empty room. Professionally, socially, universally, and yet she was smiling. An hour before the meeting, Olivia changed outfits 4 times, then scolded herself. This wasn't a date, just a conversation about work, with coffee, and possibly unemployment. She arrived 3 minutes late, not more, not less. On time would have looked desperate, and desperate was tragic. But Ethan was already there, corner table, 2 coffees. Got here early, he said, sliding 1 cup toward her. Guessed your order from your texting style. Oh, really? Olivia raised a brow. And what's my style? The kind that can't survive corporate chaos without a little extra foam on top. Olivia laughed and immediately regretted it. Damn it, in person he was just as dangerously witty. Ethan wrapped both hands around his cup, holding it slowly, as if he were about to say something important. Tell me about Brendan. Seriously? You really want to hear about my manager? I want to understand why one of the company's most talented employees almost quit on Friday. Most talented? You haven't even seen my projects. I have. I checked. He pulled out his phone and started scrolling. Your product launch campaign in Q2, engagement up 287%, and the social media strategy you presented at the last meeting, which Brendan later claimed as his own, brilliant. That should have been implemented immediately. Olivia froze, mid-sip. You knew he took credit for my ideas? I suspected. Now I can confirm. Ethan leaned back, his expression serious. Tell me everything. And she did. About pointless meetings, absurd urgent tasks, endless redo this requests. How Brendan humiliated her in front of the team, and then passed her ideas off as his own. How he criticized work with vague phrases like, something's off, without ever explaining what needed fixing. Ethan listened closely, never interrupting. Occasionally he asked questions. Sometimes he even took notes on his phone. But the worst part, Olivia continued, her second coffee finally gone, her filter completely vanished, was when he started speaking in those poster slogans, like they were a management handbook. I came to him with a critical system failure that wiped out 3 weeks of work, and he said, "Every failure is preparation for a great victory." Ethan, 3 weeks gone. That's not preparation. That's a disaster. She paused and exhaled. "Sorry, I called you Ethan, Mr. Callahan, Your Executive Majesty." Ethan laughed so hard he wiped his eyes. "Please, never call me Executive Majesty again. And yes, just Ethan. Considering you've already confided your corporate escape plans to me, I'd say we're past that stage. And no, Olivia, I'm not firing you." He looked at her, steady and serious. "Can I say something?" She nodded. "I was gone for 3 months. My father had serious health issues. I spent almost all that time in the hospital, completely cut off from Apex. When I returned," he paused for a second, "I realized a lot had changed. People I trusted had, to put it mildly, stopped reflecting the culture I was trying to build. So no one's firing you. I appreciate your honesty. And believe me, I'll be checking a few things myself." A strange warmth stirred deep inside Olivia. Gratitude, relief, and attraction? No, definitely not that. That would be highly inappropriate. Then Ethan leaned in, the dangerous half-smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "Now, tell me about that time you almost threw your laptop out the window." "How do you know?" "You mentioned it on Friday, word for word. Defenestration of technology." And just like that, they talked for another 2 hours. Ethan shared absurd CEO stories he couldn't tell anyone else. Olivia revealed office moments she'd long kept silent. Talking to him was too easy. Dangerously easy. "It's late," Ethan finally said, glancing at his watch. "And technically, I'm your boss's boss, so I probably shouldn't keep you until—" He checked again. 9? "Technically, you invited me. Technically, you were the first to bring up quitting." They left together. The evening was crisp. Olivia had forgotten her jacket. "Here," Ethan said, draping his blazer over her shoulders before she could protest. The fabric was warm. It smelled of expensive cologne, and something uniquely him. "Ethan, give it back. Monday's a perfect excuse to drop by my office," she said. He smiled, waved, and vanished into an Uber. Olivia stayed on the sidewalk, wrapped in his jacket. Her heart was doing something unmistakably unprofessional. Friday morning, Olivia was pouring herself a coffee in the office kitchen when Zoe burst in, literally shaking with excitement. "Liv, did you see the email?" "What email?" "Brendan's been transferred to the Phoenix branch. And you got promoted. You're the new marketing director." Olivia's cup nearly slipped from her hands. "What?" The email just came. Official HR notification. Brendan Foster, transferred. Olivia Bennett, new director of digital marketing. Since when? Effective immediately. Olivia dashed to her desk, opened her inbox. There it was, the official notice. Brendan transferred. Olivia in her new role, starting today. Her fingers trembled as she grabbed her phone. "Ethan, did you do this?" "Do what?" "Don't play dumb." "I'm not sure what you mean. Although I did hear we have a new marketing director now. Maybe we should celebrate. Dinner?" "Ethan." "Olivia." He was already under investigation on multiple fronts. Their conversation only accelerated the inevitable. And this promotion, she had earned it. "I personally reviewed your entire portfolio. You should have been director 6 months ago." "You reviewed my portfolio?" "I may be CEO, but I know how to use Google Drive." "That app launch project, you were brilliant. Someone should have noticed sooner." Olivia's cheeks flushed. "People will think it's favoritism." "Let them think what they want. I saw the numbers. You increased engagement by 340% last quarter. This isn't favoritism. This is talent being recognized." "Still dinner?" Olivia asked. "Not as CEO and employee, just a guy who got a random message. And the girl writing the best corporate rebel copy on the planet." Olivia bit her lip. A smile broke through despite everything. "This is the worst idea ever." "Agreed. Saturday, 7 p.m. You're unbearable." "That's part of my charm." "Right." Olivia stared at the screen. The promotion, the messages, everything. It was about to explode, loudly and beautifully. Corporate stars had clearly decreed it. HR, page 1. Do not date the CEO. But he was funny, he listened, and he had that smile. Yes, but when this all blows up, I might seriously consider quitting. Fair, I'll send the address. Olivia, Ethan, congratulations on the promotion. You're incredible. Zoe appeared behind her. Why are you blushing? Why are you smiling? Wait, you're texting the CEO? Zoe, I can explain. Explain, because last I checked, you were planning to quit. Olivia glanced at her phone, at Ethan's jacket still on her chair, at her life flipped upside down in a single week. Remember that accidental message I told you about? Zoe's eyes went wide. No. Yes. No. Yes. Liv, you sent that message to the CEO? I didn't know it was him. And now, you have a date with him on Saturday? Zoe screamed so loud half the office turned. Zoe, quiet! You're going on a date with the CEO after threatening to quit? When you say it like that, it sounds terrible. Because it is terrible. Zoe grabbed her shoulders. Liv, this is insane. But wait, genius. He's handsome, successful, and apparently has a great sense of humor about corporate rebellion. This is probably the worst decision of my life. Maybe, but it could be the best of the worst decisions. Zoe smiled. So, what are you wearing? Saturday, 6:45 p.m. Olivia was having a minor crisis in front of the bathroom mirror. Dress okay? Too formal? Too casual? He said dinner, but what kind? Pizza? Or a 5-star restaurant? The address he sent made it clear, definitely the latter. She arrived at 7:03 p.m., fashionably late. Ethan was waiting outside the restaurant. Dark jeans, white shirt with sleeves rolled up, no tie, hair slightly messier than his usual CEO style. He looked dangerously attractive. You look amazing, he said, and you're not in a suit. I told you, tonight I'm not CEO. Tonight I'm just Ethan. And I'm just Olivia. You were always just Olivia from the very first message. They stepped inside. The restaurant had style, but not the kind that screamed for attention. Exposed brick walls, soft, warm lighting, a cozy vibe with character. I know the owner, Ethan said as they sat down. We went to school together. I once saved him from a very stupid decision. For example, he wanted a tattoo of his ex's name, in Chinese, and he had no idea what it actually said. Olivia laughed, taking a sip of water. Dinner was perfect. They talked about everything. How Ethan launched Apex from a tiny apartment. How Olivia got into marketing because she loved figuring out how ideas connect with people, their shared obsession with true crime podcasts, and ridiculous corporate party stories. You couldn't have danced on the table, Ethan exclaimed. I totally could. Last New Year's. Zoe has it on video. I need to see that. Don't even hope. Too late. It's part of your professional evaluation now. As CEO, I must assess your coordination skills. You're ridiculous. You've said that before. I'm starting to think it's a compliment. Everything was going amazingly until dessert. A woman's voice cut through the air behind them. Ethan. They turned. A tall blonde in a striking red suit stood there, her expression neutral, her eyes like scanners. Vanessa. Ethan tensed noticeably. Hi. Didn't expect to see you here. Her gaze flicked to Olivia, assessing, intrigued. And you're not alone. Before Olivia could speak, Ethan intervened. Vanessa, this is Olivia. Olivia, Vanessa. Just names, no explanations, no context. A chill ran down Olivia's spine. Nice to meet you, Vanessa said with a smile, but her eyes held no warmth. Ethan and I have known each other for years, business partners, or rather, ex-partners. Complicated. Complicated seemed to be the evening's theme. I won't ruin your night, Vanessa added, though she clearly had no intention of leaving. But Ethan, we need to talk about the investor meeting. You've been ignoring my calls. I've been busy. I can see that. Her gaze returned to Olivia. Have a good evening. She walked away, leaving tension thick enough to cut with a knife. Silence fell. Ex? Olivia asked, trying to sound calm. Yes, 2 years ago. Everything. He ran a hand through his hair, the nervous gesture she remembered well. Not simple. She helped Apex connect with major investors. We were together, then we weren't. But the business ties stayed. And she wants it all back. And you? No, Absolutely not. But she... He trailed off, shaking his head. She's persistent and well-connected. Cutting ties recklessly could hurt the business. Olivia nodded, but something inside shifted. A crack had appeared in the evening that had started so perfectly. Ethan's phone buzzed, again and again. "Sorry, I need to check this. It's from the office." He stepped away, leaving Olivia alone with her thoughts. When he returned, his face was tense. "Everything okay?" "Hack attempt. Someone tried to breach our client database. IT needs my approval for emergency protocols. On a Saturday night. Cyber criminals don't take weekends off." He looked genuinely frustrated. "Sorry, I didn't imagine the night like this." "It's okay. Work is work. Let me at least drive you home." In the car, he insisted she exit first, eyes glued to his phone as he coordinated security. When they reached her house, he finally looked up from the screen. This evening, it got interrupted. Ex-partners, digital threats. There was more in his words than just an apology. Olivia tried to keep it light. "Definitely unforgettable. Not what I meant." "It's fine, Ethan. Really. Go handle your crises." He looked like he wanted to say something more, but only nodded. "Monday. We'll talk Monday. Promise." Olivia stepped out, watching him drive away. At home, Zoe was waiting, with wine and questions. "So, how was it?" "Complicated." "Is it complicated in a good way or a bad way?" "It's just complicated. I don't know." She told everything. The perfect dinner, Vanessa, the security issues, and how Ethan suddenly seemed distant. "Liv," Zoe said cautiously, "maybe he just called you Olivia because you were in public and you're not even officially together yet. Or maybe I'm just an employee to him, someone he texted once. You don't really believe that. You saw the way he looked at you." "But what if it's just a fling? What if once it fades, I mean nothing to him? And what if it's not just a fling? What if it's real?" Olivia curled up on the couch, staring at her phone. It vibrated. "Ethan, I'm really sorry about tonight. I'll make it right." Olivia, "How's the security situation?" Ethan, "Under control, but I'll have to stay here all night." Olivia, "Then, coffee and good luck." Ethan, Olivia, Ethan, tonight was the best in years, even with all the chaos, especially before it. Olivia smiled despite herself. Olivia, "Monday, we talk then." Ethan, "Monday, no distractions, I promise." But Monday came with its own complications. When Olivia arrived at work, Ethan was nowhere to be found. In the main conference room, behind the glass wall, sat Vanessa, surrounded by the entire executive team. Olivia froze, unable to believe her eyes. Vanessa commanded the table with confidence. The vice president, CFO, and head of development nodded along. Graphs, charts, a presentation flashed on the screen. What the hell was happening? Zoe appeared beside her, coffee in hand. "No idea. That's the ex from Saturday? The one and only." They watched Vanessa laugh at the CFO's joke, lightly touching his arm. She moved as if she'd never left. Olivia's phone buzzed. "Ethan, can you come to my office? We need to talk." Her stomach twisted. "Ethan, now please." Olivia took the elevator up to the executive floor. New director passes opened every door without question. It all still felt unreal. Ethan's assistant waved her in. He stood by the window, tie loosened, face drawn, like he hadn't slept a wink. "You look awful," she blurted. He turned, giving her a weak smile. "Thanks. Exactly what I need right now." "Sorry, awful, but in a caring way." "Smooth save." He gestured to the chair opposite. "Sit, please." Olivia sat, hands folded in her lap, trying to calm the pounding of her heart. "About Saturday," he began. "About Vanessa, who's now sitting in your conference room," she cut in, sharper than intended. Ethan winced. "Yeah, that. Are you two back together, or just business partners? I just don't understand what I walked into this morning. We're not together, not at all." He ran his hands over his face. "Saturday turned out worse than I thought. A data leak. Very sensitive information. The board insisted we bring in crisis management experts immediately. Vanessa's firm, they're the best." "The board insisted?" "Yes. And you just agreed? I had no choice. 3 board members threatened an emergency vote if I didn't act. Vanessa's a professional. We had to protect the company's reputation. Olivia tried to process it all. Logic was on his side, but her heart screamed, "No!" So, what does this mean for us? She gestured weakly between them. Ethan stood, walked around the desk, stopping closer. It means we need to be careful, much more careful than I expected. Careful in what way? He looked her straight in the eyes. The board's already questioning some of my recent decisions. If they find out there's something unprofessional between us, they'll use it against us, against you, especially. So, you're saying, I'm saying maybe we should cool things off a bit, at least publicly, until the crisis passes, and until Vanessa is out of the picture. There it was, the exact thing Olivia had been dreading since Saturday night. I get it, makes sense. She stood, keeping her voice steady. Professional distance, clear. Olivia, no, really, I understand. You're the CEO. I'm just the newly promoted director. People are watching. It's all logical. That's not what He stepped closer, irritation and pain flashing across his face. I don't want this, but I can't let them destroy you because of me. And they will. Vanessa already made a comment this morning about interesting new management decisions. A chill ran through Olivia's veins. She knows about us. She suspects, and she's a master at turning suspicion into a weapon. So it's all because of her? It's because of you, because of your career. You earned this promotion, Olivia, and I won't let anyone take it from you. He looked genuinely miserable, and that made it even harder. How long? Olivia whispered. Consulting contract. 3 weeks. Maybe less if we act fast. 3 weeks. 21 days pretending Saturday night never happened. 21 days watching Vanessa parade through the office like it's her territory. Fine, Olivia said, heading for the door. Wait. Ethan gently touched her hand. I know this isn't what we wanted, but it doesn't change anything between us. Really? Doesn't it? She looked at his hand against hers, then into his eyes. 3 weeks is a long time. Anything could change in that time. Not this, not us. Olivia wanted to believe him, but she knew the corporate world too well. Intentions mean nothing if the circumstances are against you. I need to get to work. New role, new responsibilities. She left before he could say another word. The next 2 weeks were torture. Olivia threw herself into work, overhauling the entire digital marketing strategy, launching new campaigns, smashing all metrics. If anyone was going to whisper about favoritism, her results would speak louder. But no matter where she went, there was Vanessa, in meetings where Olivia now sat as director, in the hallways, in the cafeteria, laughing with board members, accidentally appearing near Ethan. She's circling him like a shark, Zoe remarked over lunch in the second week. She's just doing her job, Olivia muttered, stabbing her salad a little too aggressively. Her job doesn't include touching his hand every 5 seconds. Olivia noticed it too, those casual touches, inside jokes, the way Vanessa leaned in when speaking to him. They have a history, it's normal. Do you really believe that? No. She didn't. But what could she do? Her phone vibrated. Ethan, conference room C in 5 minutes. Need your input on something. Conference room C, a small private room. He was already there. Door closed, blinds drawn. This looks suspicious, Olivia said, pausing at the doorway. We haven't been alone in 12 days, Ethan said without moving. I'm going crazy. Ethan, we agreed. Professional distance. I'm keeping it, publicly, but now it's just you and me. I just need 5 minutes to be honest. Olivia hesitated. So, what do you need me for? Nothing, that was the excuse. He gave a guilty smile. I'm abusing my CEO powers, sorry. You can't keep doing this. I know, but when I see you in meetings, hear your ideas, watch you shine in this new role, and can't tell you how amazing you are, it kills me. Ethan? Olivia stepped closer, against all reason. We agreed. I agreed to distance publicly. She hadn't agreed to pretend I don't think about you every minute. Pretend that Saturday night meant nothing. Pretend I don't want to finish what we started. He stepped closer, close enough for her to catch his scent. She saw the weariness in his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. 3 weeks, she reminded him, and herself. You said 3 weeks. 8 days left. After Vanessa's contract ends, then we can. The phone rang, once, twice, again. Both stared at the screen. The name glowed, Vanessa. Ethan ignored the call. The phone rang again instantly. You should answer, Olivia said, stepping back. I should fire her. You should answer. He hit speaker. What is it? Emergency board meeting. Everyone's in the main conference room. Something about a client data leak investigation. Vanessa's voice was icy, impeccably professional. You need to be there. I'm on my way. He hung up and looked at Olivia. Exhaustion, anger, regret all etched into his face. Sorry. Go. It's fine. It's not fine. None of this is normal. 8 days left, she tried to smile. We'll get through it. But they didn't, because that very day, everything exploded. Olivia was in her office analyzing campaign metrics when her phone screen lit up. A message, unknown number, unknown, thought you'd want to see this before everyone else does. An image loaded, a photo, her and Ethan at that same coffee shop 2 weeks ago, sitting close, laughing, completely absorbed in each other. It was too personal, too accusing. Unknown. Interesting relationship for a CEO and a newly promoted director, huh? It'd be a shame if HR or the board saw this. Olivia's hands shook. Another message. Unknown. Step back. He's not yours. Never was. No signature. But Olivia knew. She knew exactly who it was. Before she could decide what to do, Zoe burst into the office. Liv, have you seen the internal forum? What? No, what happened? Zoe shoved a laptop at her. On the company's anonymous forum, a new thread had exploded. Favoritism at the top. Someone had posted a detailed timeline, Olivia's promotion, her meetings with Ethan, Brandon's transfer. Everything linked, forming a scandal, even if every detail had an innocent explanation. The comments were ruthless. Exactly why women can't get promoted fairly. I knew there was something shady about her promotion. Maybe the CEO just dates a new director every month? Olivia felt sick. It's anonymous, Zoe said quickly. It's a policy violation. HR will remove it. But the damage was done. Everyone's seen it. You need to talk to Ethan. I can't. That will only make it worse. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was Ethan. Ethan. Come to my office. Now. When she entered, he was pacing like a caged animal. Vanessa sat in a chair, concerned, yet oddly satisfied. You saw the forum? He said without preamble. Yes. We're tracking IPs. We'll find who posted it. Does it matter? Everyone's already seen. Everyone already assumes. She couldn't finish. HR is preparing a statement, Vanessa said evenly. It will make clear Miss Bennett's promotion is purely merit-based, endorsed by multiple executives, not just Ethan. Which is true, Ethan snapped. It's all documented. But, Vanessa continued, perception is critical in corporate policy, and right now, it's dangerous. For both of you? Olivia looked at Ethan, at Vanessa, at the chaos tearing apart everything they had. And what do you suggest? Her voice was hollow. Vanessa straightened her skirt. Maintain the strictest professional distance. No personal meetings, no messages, only official channels. And, she turned to Ethan, the board already doubts your management decisions. This only fuels it further. I don't care what the board thinks, he hissed. Olivia earned this. I know it was her, Vanessa interrupted, but her eyes said something entirely different. Right now, both of you need to think about appearances, how it looks from the outside. Olivia felt trapped, cornered. Every step seemed like a potential mistake. I should go, she whispered. Olivia, Ethan began. She's right, about appearances and everything else. Olivia turned toward the door. I won't get in the way. I don't want to, but maybe this is for the best, right? She left without waiting for an answer. The rest of the week blurred into a haze of tasks, whispered conversations, and sideways glances. Olivia kept her head down, delivering exceptional results while completely avoiding Ethan. Friday came, and as she packed to leave, an incoming email pinged. The subject was dry, official. Results of investigation on anonymous forum post. The IP address had been traced. Everything led back to Vanessa's laptop. Olivia froze, staring at the screen, hands trembling with rage. Without a word, she forwarded the email to Ethan. 30 seconds later, her phone rang. "Don't come in on Monday," Ethan said without greeting. "What?" "Work from home. Please, just trust me." "Ethan, what's going on?" "Just trust me, okay?" He hung up. Olivia sat in her office, stunned. She had proof that Vanessa had set her up, and Ethan had just told her to stay away. 8 days stretched ahead like a minefield, and she had no clue what waited next. Monday morning, 6 a.m. Even though she had nowhere to go, sleep refused to return. Her mind raced. All weekend she'd replayed the events, the anonymous post, the threats, Vanessa's smug face, IT's conclusion, and Ethan's cryptic words. Coffee in hand, she opened her laptop, logged in, and tried to resist checking her phone every 30 seconds. Finally, at 8:47 a.m., a call. "Zoe, are you seeing this?" her friend nearly shouted. "What?" "The company live stream. Ethan's calling everyone to an emergency meeting, right now." Panic-stricken, Olivia rushed to her laptop and opened the internal broadcast. The main conference room was packed. Over 300 employees were watching online. At the front stood Ethan, and he looked nothing like the exhausted man from Friday. He was composed, confident, dangerous. Vanessa sat in the front row, utterly confused. "Good morning, everyone," Ethan began, his voice radiating the CEO authority Olivia had only heard a few times. "I've gathered you here to address serious issues regarding professional ethics, sabotage, and corporate integrity." Dead silence filled the room. "As you know, last week an anonymous post appeared on our internal forum. It made accusations of favoritism in a recent promotion, specifically regarding Olivia Bennett's promotion to Director of Digital Marketing." Olivia's breath caught. Was he about to expose her? Let me be clear. This promotion was not only deserved, it was overdue. Over the past 6 months, Ms. Bennett increased our digital engagement by 340%. She developed campaigns that brought in our 3 largest clients this quarter. Her work directly contributed to a 28% revenue growth in her department. He clicked the remote, and a presentation appeared behind him. Charts, metrics, undeniable proof. Olivia's promotion was recommended by 4 department heads and approved by HR before it even reached my desk. The decision was unanimous. The only mistake we made was not promoting her 6 months earlier. Olivia covered her mouth with her hand. He was defending her, publicly, with facts. Then Ethan's voice shifted, cold as ice. "However, someone in this company decided to exploit the anonymity of our forum and methods of harassment to try to undermine the reputation of a talented employee, to create a toxic work environment based on completely false accusations." The room froze. Vanessa no longer looked confident. Ethan was about to expose everything, and Olivia knew this was far from over. He clicked the mouse again. An anonymous forum post appeared on the screen. Our cybersecurity team traced the source. His voice was calm, but the tension in the air was almost tangible. The post was sent from a device registered to Vanessa Hartley, a consultant who's been with us for the past 6 months. The camera slowly turned. Vanessa went pale. "Additionally," he continued, "Ms. Hartley sent threatening messages to Ms. Bennett, including photos taken without consent, containing elements of blackmail." Click. Screenshots of the threats appeared on the screen. Phone number visible. "That number is registered to Vanessa Hartley's company." Whispers filled the room. Someone covered their mouth. Others exchanged glances. Vanessa jumped up. "This is absurd, Ethan." Her voice trembled. "Sit down," his words cut like a knife. "I'm not finished." She sat, her face turning from pale to furious. "This company is built on honesty, respect, and merit. What you've done violates every one of those principles. And on top of that, it's a crime. Cyberbullying, harassment, and attempted blackmail." He turned directly to her. "Your contract is terminated immediately. You have 30 minutes to collect your things and leave the building. Security will escort you. Our lawyers will contact you regarding the harassment claims Ms. Bennett will file." "You can't do this," Vanessa screamed, then caught herself. "The board approved my contract. I have connections." "The board approved it based on your reputation, which you just destroyed. And your connections?" he said, smirking coldly. Most of them came through me. Good luck. The conference room doors swung open. 2 security guards stepped forward. Ms. Hartley, please come with us, they said, politely but firmly. Vanessa scanned the room, all eyes on her. No allies. Her flawless composure shattered. This is because of her, isn't it? She pointed at the camera where Olivia sat. You threw everything we built away for some girl you've known for 3 weeks? We built nothing, Vanessa. Ethan's voice turned icy. I built this company. You just tried to ride on its success. And by the way, some girl, a brilliant professional who earned everything through her work. Unlike you. Vanessa's face contorted with rage. She grabbed her bag and bolted for the door, guards following. At the threshold, she turned back. You'll regret this, Ethan. When this little story ends and she leaves you high and dry, you... Out! He cut her off. The door slammed with a resonant thud. The room was still. Nobody moved. Ethan took a deep breath. His voice softened. I want to clarify one more thing. Yes, there were rumors, gossip, speculation about my personal life and Ms. Bennett. Here's the truth. I respect her as a professional. Her promotion is due solely to her exceptional work. He paused, eyes warming slightly. But I won't apologize for thinking she's incredible, for enjoying talking with her, for valuing her opinion, as a colleague and as a person. Those feelings don't diminish her achievements. They exist alongside them. Olivia's heart pounded as if it wanted to break free. If anyone doubts the fairness of our decisions, HR is open. Come with facts, not anonymous posts. If anyone feels wronged, we'll address it directly, professionally. He clicked. The live stream ended. Olivia sat, frozen, staring at the dark screen. Her phone exploded with messages. Zoe. Olivia, what just happened? Zoe. He just fired his ex and defended you publicly? Zoe. And basically admitted his feelings for you? Olivia stared at the screen. Her heart thundered. Everything had changed. Forever. During the corporate live stream, Zoya was on air. Answer me. But before Olivia could respond, the doorbell rang. She walked slowly to the door, still in pajama pants and an oversized sweater, and opened it. There stood Ethan, his tie loosened, looking like he'd just fought a war and won. Hi, he said. Hi, she barely whispered. Can I come in? She stepped aside. He entered her apartment, ran a hand through his hair, and turned to face her. So, it happened, he said. It definitely happened, she replied. I probably should have warned you beforehand, but I couldn't risk the news leaking before morning. You fired her, right in front of everyone. I fired her because she was stalking you, undermining your reputation, and breaking at least 6 laws. The audience was just a bonus. Ethan, Olivia took a step forward. You didn't have to do all of this. I did, he stepped closer, closing the distance between them. I told you I wouldn't let anyone ruin your career because of me. Turns out, the threat wasn't us. It was her. Your advice is losing its mind. She froze. Let it, he said. I have proof of everything. Her harassment, your results, my rationale behind every decision. They have nothing to stand on. But, he gently took her hands. For 3 weeks I tried protecting you while keeping my distance. All I did was give Vanessa space to complicate things. That strategy is over. So, what's the new strategy? The new strategy, honesty, transparency. No more games when it comes to you, just because someone might disagree. Olivia froze, unable to believe her ears. You're talking about your feelings for me? Well, Olivia, you should have figured that out, he said, running his thumb across her palm. Since that very first random message, I couldn't stop thinking about you. Your humor, your passion, your unique way of seeing the world. Nothing like anyone else in that building. I tried to stay professional, keep my distance, but I can't stop thinking about you. This is all too much, she whispered. I know, he smiled. Probably your boss shouldn't be standing in your apartment confessing his feelings. HR would launch a full investigation into power dynamics. But I'm ready to handle the complications. If you are. We can set boundaries, be transparent with HR, do it properly, she said, if you're ready for that. He gently squeezed her hands. I just blew up my ex-girlfriend on a corporate live stream for you, and only now realize I never asked how you feel. Olivia laughed, a little hysterically. You idiot. That's not an answer. He looked at her with that smile. Of course I feel the same. For 3 weeks I went crazy, couldn't talk to you, couldn't be near you, pretending our coffee meeting meant nothing. He kissed her. Finally, truly kissed her, after weeks of almost kisses and terrible timing. It was perfect, messy, real. When they pulled back, both slightly breathless, Ethan smiled that very smile she had fallen for through their messages. "So, we're doing this?" he asked. "We're doing this, but doing it right. Transparency with HR, clear boundaries, no secret meetings." "Agreed. Well, maybe a couple of private meetings for personal reasons," he said, grinning. "Ethan, I'm joking, mostly." He pulled her close again. "You probably should get changed and start your workday. You said you'd work from home because you knew the morning would be chaotic, didn't want to face the fallout in person." He kissed her on the forehead. "But now, with Vanessa gone and everything public, you can go back tomorrow if you want. And if people look at me weird, then we'll handle it together, professionally. But Olivia, your work speaks for itself. The metrics don't lie. Anyone who doubts you will face documented proof that you are exceptional at what you do." She pressed against him, feeling the tension of the past 3 weeks melt away. "Thank you for defending me. Thank you for thinking I was worth defending, and for accidentally messaging me that day." The best wrong number in history. Tuesday morning. Olivia stepped into Apex Dynamics, bracing for whispers, sideways glances, judgment. Instead, she was met with a standing ovation. Her marketing team cheered in admiration. "You're kidding," Marcus, one of her colleagues, said, noticing her stunned expression. "You survived an attempted sabotage from the psycho CEO and came out with public recognition for your work. You're a legend." "Oh, come on," Olivia said. "The metrics Ethan showed yesterday are insane." 340% engagement growth, another colleague added. "This isn't favoritism. You're just unbelievably good at your job." At that moment, Zoe appeared with coffee. "See, I told you everything would be fine." "You didn't say it would be," Olivia smiled. "The whole weekend you panicked with me." "True, but now I'm claiming I knew it all along." Olivia's first meeting was the weekly marketing department session. Half expecting awkwardness, she instead found herself treated as the director she deserved to be. Asked for her opinions, respected for her expertise, listened to intently. At lunch, a message came through. "Ethan, how's your first day back?" Olivia, surprisingly calm. "People are professional." "Ethan said your work speaks for itself." "I still feel weird about all this." "Give it time." "Want to meet tonight?" "Somewhere private. Definitely not where Vanessa interrupted us last time." "Ethan, can we? We need to be careful how this looks." "I talked to HR this morning, told them about us. They said, as long as you don't report to him directly and maintain professional boundaries, it's fine. You report to the VP of marketing and they report to him. That's proper separation." "You already spoke with HR?" "First thing this morning. I said, doing everything the right way." Olivia smiled at her phone. "Evening sounds perfect." Wednesday brought even more tension. Olivia was presenting the Q4 digital marketing strategy to the executive team, the first meeting since the Vanessa debacle. "Impressive work," said the CFO, studying her forecasts. "But these conversion metrics are ambitious. How do you plan to achieve them?" Olivia explained her methodology, the data, the tests she ran. She was in her element, confident, precise. Ethan sat at the far end of the table, mostly silent, letting her shine. Afterward, the VP of operations pulled her aside. "That was excellent, very well thought out. Thank you. I'll be honest because you deserve it. Some of us doubted your promotion. The timing seemed suspicious, but after seeing your work over the past weeks, especially this presentation, you've earned this position. Anyone who says otherwise is an idiot." Something inside Olivia relaxed, a real acknowledgement from someone with no reason to flatter her. "Thank you," she said. "I'll just keep doing my job. The results speak for themselves." Thursday brought inevitable complications. A business journal published an article. Apex Dynamics CEO fires consultant amid allegations of harassment, office romance, or professional misconduct. The article was mostly factual, citing Ethan's public statements and documented harassment cases, but raised questions about whether personal feelings influenced business decisions. Olivia read it in the office, feeling her legs give way beneath her. A call. "Olivia, don't read that article," he said immediately. It's too late. This is dirty journalism. They want to stir a scandal where none exists. But they're not entirely wrong to ask questions. You fired your ex and publicly defended me. People are going to speculate. Let them. Our legal team has already sent a statement to the publication, backed with proof of Vanessa's harassment. It logs, threats, messages, everything. If they want to turn this into a spectacle, we have evidence to last years. This won't end quietly. I know, but we never expected it to be easy. His voice softened. Are you okay? I'm fine. I'm just worried about you, your reputation. My reputation will survive. The board got all the documents yesterday. Even the skeptics admit Vanessa crossed every line. That article? Noise. Nothing more. Ethan, Olivia, I chose you, knowing it would be hard, knowing there would be rumors. I'd choose you again. She closed her eyes, feeling the weight of his words. Dinner tonight? He asked. I'm thinking Thai food, and you'll nervously chew your pad thai while I convince you everything will be fine. Very specific. I'm learning your habits. Thai sounds perfect. Friday afternoon. The board had called an emergency meeting. Ethan had been there for 3 hours. Olivia tried to focus on work, but kept checking her phone every 30 minutes. Silence. At 4:47 p.m., Zoe burst into her office. The meeting just ended. Ethan is coming. Looking, I can't tell if that's good or bad. Olivia opened the corporate directory, lingering on Ethan's extension, but before she could call, the office door opened. Ethan stepped in, closed the door, and leaned against it. Well, Olivia asked, heart racing. The board expressed concerns about image, questioned my impartiality, discussed accountability. I told them my judgment is crystal clear, every decision documented and justified, that Vanessa's harassment is a crime, not corporate drama, and my personal life, so long as it doesn't interfere with work, isn't up for board approval. How did they react? 3 board members wanted to issue a formal reprimand. 5 opposed, 2 abstained. He gave a faint smile. No reprimand, but now I'm under intense scrutiny. Any hint of favoritism or privilege can be used to question my leadership. Olivia's stomach sank. Ethan, maybe we should... No. He pushed off the door and stepped toward her. Don't finish that sentence. We won't back down just because we're being watched. We'll be so flawless, so professional, there'll be nothing to complain about. That's a lot of pressure. You're already handling it. Your Q4 strategy received unanimous board support, even from the skeptics 2 weeks ago. He took her hands. We'll get through this. You sure? Never been more sure in my life. Olivia looked at him, the man who publicly defended her, managed the board's intrigues, and refused to let circumstances dictate his choices. All right, she said. We'll get through this. Dinner? He asked. I've got a better idea. Come over tonight. I'll cook. We'll watch something light. A couple of hours just being ordinary people, not a CEO and a director under corporate scrutiny. Sounds perfect. That evening, Olivia's apartment became their refuge. She cooked pasta, a little overdone, but edible. Ethan brought wine, expensive, of course. They sat on the couch, watching a terrible action movie, picking apart its plot holes. No explosion could leave a hero with such photogenic dirt spots, Ethan remarked. And she's running in heels, not twisting an ankle. Completely unrealistic, Olivia replied. Says the CEO who just survived a corporate coup attempt. That's different. I had documentation. Olivia laughed and snuggled against his shoulder. Can I ask you something? She said during a particularly dull scene. Always. When did you realize that what we had was more than just casual texting? Ethan paused for a moment, his fingers gently playing with her hair. Honestly, that very first coffee meeting. You were nervous, but trying to hide it. Your sarcastic comments about corporate culture, they were so spot on. It hurt. And when you talked about your work, about why you love marketing, your whole face lit up. He tilted her chin, meeting her gaze. I thought you were extraordinary, and I was sure I'd ruin it. After all, I'm technically your boss's boss, and then some. You didn't ruin anything, she said softly. Almost a couple of times, but not you. All the mess with Vanessa, that was her, not you. You handled it. Olivia leaned in, pressing a soft kiss to his lips. Maybe not the delicate kind HR would approve of, but it was theirs. Public firings, as it turns out, aren't exactly recommended in management books. Who knew? They settled back together, cozy as if they were in a movie, and for the first time, the chaos of recent weeks felt manageable. By nearly 11, Ethan reluctantly started gathering his things. "I should go." "Stay," Olivia said, then quickly added, "Not that you have to, but you can if you want. No pressure. He silenced her chatter with a kiss. "I want to stay. Very much." Saturday morning, Olivia woke to sunlight and the rich smell of coffee. She found Ethan in the kitchen. Somehow he had located her. French press and the real coffee beans she'd forgotten even existed. "You're a morning person," she said, half asleep. "And you're not. I brought coffee." "You're perfect. Remember that, in case I do something foolish." They spent the morning in deliberately mundane routines. Breakfast, reading the news, debating whether weekend headlines were too depressing. Ethan had a noon conference call. Olivia had to review budget proposals. But for a few hours, they were just two people who had found each other under the most ridiculous circumstances. As Ethan prepared to leave, he paused in the doorway. "We'll make it work, you know? Whatever comes next." "How do you know?" "Because we've already survived the worst. Sabotage, public attention, board investigations, corporate politics. If we made it through that in 3 weeks, we can handle anything." Olivia leaned against the doorframe, smiling. "You know what's insane?" "What?" "If I'd dialed the right number that day, none of this would have happened." "Then you should thank your terrible texting skills, or me, for replying to random complaints from strangers at work." "Best decision of my life." He kissed her goodbye, and Olivia watched him go, a strange sense of calm settling over her. The chaos was finally falling into place. Her phone buzzed. "Ethan, already missing you." Olivia. "Is that too clingy?" Ethan. "You just left 30 seconds ago." Olivia. "I'll allow it because I miss you too." Ethan. "Dinner tomorrow?" Olivia. "You're going to wear me out if this keeps up." Ethan. "Impossible. See you tomorrow." Olivia smiled at the screen, thinking of wrong numbers and perfect timing, how the best things in life often happen by complete accident. 3 weeks had passed since Vanessa's dramatic exit, and Olivia had adjusted to a strange new normal, being incredibly happy while staying constantly on alert. Happy because she was with someone who made her laugh until her sides hurt, remembered exactly how she liked her coffee, and looked at her as if she were the most precious thing in the world. Alert because that someone was the CEO. And roughly 75 people were watching every interaction with them, more closely than wildlife documentarians follow their subjects. "You're overthinking again," Zoe said, watching Olivia stare at her salad like it held the secrets of the universe. "I can literally see the gears turning in your head." "I'm not paranoid. You've been stabbing that tomato for 3 straight minutes. It's dead. You win." Olivia put down her fork. "After lunch today, I have a strategic meeting with the leadership team. My first big presentation since everything happened. What if people think he's being too soft with you? Or worse, what if he's too strict to prove he's not giving special treatment? Or the wildest thought, what if he treats you exactly like everyone else and you just crush it with your work? That's not how corporate politics works, and you know it. Maybe not, but that's how fairness works." Zoe stole a cherry tomato from Olivia's salad. "You've been absolutely killing it for weeks. Your campaign results are insane. The Q4 strategy is already paying off." "You're not succeeding because of Ethan," Zoe said. "You're succeeding despite everything, despite dating the CEO." "When did you become the voice of reason?" "I've always been the voice of reason," Zoe replied. "You just usually ignore me." Zoe glanced at her phone. "By the way, your boyfriend is looking for you in the lobby." "He's not supposed to be there. We have rules." Olivia turned, and sure enough, Ethan was striding confidently through the cafeteria, completely oblivious to the dozen eyes that immediately stopped eating to watch him. "That's what I'm talking about," Olivia hissed to Zoe. "Everyone's looking." "People always watch the CEO, Liv. That's in his job description." Ethan reached their table, and Olivia's heart started hammering again. A maddening thrill that had been running for 5 straight weeks. "Ladies," he greeted warmly, professionally. "Olivia, do you have a minute? We need to go over something for today's presentation." "Of course, Mr. Callahan." Olivia cringed inwardly at the formal address they had agreed to maintain in public. They moved to a quiet corner by the windows, far enough from eavesdroppers, but still professional. "You're making that worried face," Ethan said quietly. "I'm not making a worried face." "Absolutely you are. Your left eyebrow wrinkles in that ridiculous way," he demonstrated, instantly making her want to laugh and slap him at the same time. "What happened?" "Nothing. Just today's presentation is important, and you're scared I'll either go easy on you or nitpick to prove I won't." "How did you know?" "Because I know you, and because I'm worrying about it too." He glanced around, making sure no one was listening. "Here's what will happen. You'll present your strategy as the brilliant leader you are. I'll ask the same tough questions I would anyone presenting a major project. If your answers are convincing, and they will be, I'll approve. If there are serious doubts, we'll discuss it, like in any business meeting. And if someone still has their own opinion, well, that's on them. We can't control what others think. We can only control our own actions. And we are two professionals who happen to meet now for an ordinary work meeting. Nothing about this is ordinary." "Fair point." His expression softened. "We're still on for tonight, yours or mine?" "Yours." "I'll bring takeout. You pick the movie. I'll pretend to watch, but really I'll just observe you quoting every line." "I don't quote every line. Last week you quoted every line of that detective movie, even the minor characters. That movie is a cultural masterpiece. It deserves respect. See? Already smiling. Your worried face is gone." He checked his watch. "Meeting at 2. You'll crush it. I have to run. Conference call with the West Coast team." He left, and Olivia returned to the table, where Zoe was glowing like she'd just won the lottery. "You two are disgustingly adorable." "We were just talking about the meeting." "Yeah, but the way you two kept looking at each other, like you were on a date, not discussing business strategy. It's cute. And kinda gross." "I wasn't looking at him like that." "Oh, very much so." The meeting started promptly at 2 p.m. Olivia entered the conference room carrying her laptop, a polished presentation, neatly organized notes, and a charged nervous energy, one that could either make her shine or crash spectacularly. The executive team was already seated: VP of Operations, CFO, Head of Product Development, VP of Sales, and of course, Ethan, at the head of the table. "Good afternoon, everyone," Olivia began, launching her presentation. "Today, I'll be presenting a comprehensive digital marketing strategy for Q1 with projections through the end of next fiscal year." Within 30 seconds, her initial nerves dissolved, replaced by steely confidence. This was her element: data, strategy, creative solutions, all backed by clear metrics. She walked them through campaign frameworks, audience analysis, and ROI projections. Every assumption had been tested, multiple scenarios planned, and contingencies built in. 15 minutes in, the CFO raised a hand. "These conversion rate projections seem overly optimistic. What's the basis for a 23% increase compared to current performance?" Olivia was ready. "Excellent question. The current conversion rate is artificially low due to outdated landing page architecture. Over the past month, I conducted A/B testing with new page variations, achieving a 31% improvement in controlled conditions. The 23% projection is conservative, accounting for differences between test conditions and full-scale rollout." She switched slides to show detailed test results. Additionally, competitor analysis shows similar companies reaching conversion rates between 28–35% with comparable strategies. "We're not aiming for the impossible. We're aligning with industry standards." The CFO nodded, jotting down notes. "How does this integrate with the current sales process?" the VP of Sales asked. "I don't want marketing generating leads that aren't suitable." "Another great question," Olivia replied, pulling up the lead qualification flowchart. "We're implementing a new scoring system to filter leads before they reach your team, based on engagement metrics, demographics, and behavior. The goal is fewer, higher quality leads. 50 genuinely interested prospects are far better than 500 time wasters." "I like that approach," admitted the VP. Questions came one after another, and Olivia answered them all with confidence. Surprisingly, she even enjoyed it. At the head of the table, Ethan occasionally interjected with clarifying questions, but mostly let others grill her. 45 minutes later, she concluded with budget breakdowns and implementation timelines. Any questions? She asked. One, Ethan said, and Olivia felt her stomach tighten. The timeline shows a January launch, bold considering the holiday slowdown. How confident are you that it will be ready? 85%, she answered immediately. I've built in a 2-week buffer. Key milestones include vendor selection by mid-November and content creation in December. The only risk is failing to secure our preferred developer by Thanksgiving, but I have 2 backup options pre-selected. If we push the launch to February, does the quality improve, or do we just lose time? Ethan pressed. Olivia paused. This wasn't a test of her strategy. It was a test of her judgment. February would yield a modest quality increase, about 5–7%. But we'd miss the January market window, when competitors are typically weaker. Strategically, launching in January, even if imperfect, is better than a perfect launch in February. The revenue loss outweighs the slight improvement in quality. Ethan nodded slowly. Agreed, January it is. He glanced around the table. Any other opinions? I think the plan is solid, said the VP of Operations. Ambitious but realistic. I'm in. The marketing budget is well allocated, added the CFO. ROI forecasts are credible. From my side, approved. Gradually, everyone voiced agreement. Looks like you have unanimous support, Ethan said. Olivia almost relaxed. Great work, he concluded. Let's move forward with implementation. Keep us updated on vendor selection. Absolutely, she replied. After thanking everyone, gathering her materials, and saying her goodbyes, Olivia stepped out. As soon as she turned the corner into an empty hallway, she exhaled, a long, long-awaited breath of relief. Her phone buzzed. Ethan, I told you. You nailed it. That was impressive. Olivia, you asked the toughest question. Ethan, I had to. Everyone was watching to see if I'd go easy on you. Had to show I wouldn't. Olivia, and? Ethan, the CFO told me after you left. You clearly earned your position, so yes, it worked. Olivia, thanks for the tough question and the brilliant answer. Ethan, still on for tonight? Olivia, of course. Need to celebrate not panicking in that meeting. Ethan, you didn't look scared. You looked confident and professional. Olivia, lies. I was terrified. Ethan, then you hit it well. Olivia, see you at 7. Ethan, 7 it is. That evening, Ethan arrived at Olivia's with Thai food, wine, and a very serious expression. Oh, Olivia said, letting him in. That's the we need to talk face. I don't have that face. Absolutely do. What's up? Ethan placed the food on the kitchen counter and faced her. Nothing bad, but I need to talk before we eat. Otherwise, I'll think about it all night. Olivia's stomach nodded. Go ahead. The board wants me to give the keynote at the National Technology Conference in December, Seattle. 3 days, big industry event, networking, media, all of it. Amazing. You'll be incredible. I want you to go with me. Olivia blinked. Go with you? Not just as your girlfriend? Well, yes, as my girlfriend, but also as director of digital marketing. There will be sessions on new marketing strategies. You could present our approach for Q1. It's a huge opportunity for you. And for Apex. He ran a hand through his hair. I want you there both as a professional and as my girlfriend. Ethan, this is a massive conference. Everyone in the industry will be there. If we go together, everyone will know we're dating. Yes, some probably already know from articles and rumors, but this will make it public, official. Olivia sat on the couch, thinking it over. Are you sure that will be that public? He sat beside her, taking her hands. Olivia, we've been dancing around this for 6 weeks. Careful, measured, hiding every move so no one questions us. It's exhausting. I know, but hear me out. At Apex, that's probably how we'll have to live. It's the reality of our positions. But outside the office, at an industry conference where we're both there for work, I want to present you as my girlfriend and as my colleague, not hiding either. What if they think you only invited me because of our relationship? Then they'll hear your presentation and realize how absurd that idea is. Olivia, you are brilliant at your job. Today's presentation proved it. You don't need me to validate your professionalism. She looked at their intertwined hands, then at his face. Hope, nervousness, and sincerity written in every line. Okay, she said. All right, I'll go, present, And we'll be public and professional. Then, we'll see. His smile could have lit up the entire city. Yes, but warning, I'm bringing Zoe for emotional backup. She's dreamed of this conference for years, and if I go, I need support. Agreed. I'll add her to the company's participants list. He pulled Olivia closer and kissed her gently. Thank you? For what? For being willing to take this journey with me. This isn't the kind of romance people dream about. Please, simplicity is overrated. I'd choose challenges with you over ease with anyone else. That's the most cliché thing you've ever said. I know, I'm ashamed of myself. Let's eat before you say something even worse. They spent the evening sharing pad thai, watching a terrible sci-fi movie that Olivia kept pausing to point out scientific errors, and simply enjoying ordinary time together. Around 10 p.m., Ethan's phone rang. He frowned at the screen. I have to take this, the chairman of the board, at 10 p.m. Looks like corporate governance doesn't know office hours, she said as he stepped into Olivia's bedroom for privacy. She could hear his voice shifting, from light to businesslike, then to irritated. When he returned 15 minutes later, he looked exhausted. Everything okay? An emergency board meeting tomorrow morning. They want to discuss leadership and company direction. The words sounded ominous. Maybe nothing serious, or maybe something huge. It was hard to tell with board members. He sat beside her again. I'll handle it. Is this about us? I don't know. Partly, maybe. But the board has been unsettled for months. Ever since the security breach, they've doubted everything. It may have nothing to do with us, or it could. Or it could, he admitted. Listen, whatever happens tomorrow, it won't change anything between us, okay? The board can voice complaints, vote on censure, or change policy, but they can't decide who I date if I'm not breaking company rules. And we aren't. You're sure? Lawyers have reviewed our history. Everything is above board. The only thing they could argue is perception, but that's not grounds for termination. Olivia nodded, but a chill ran through her. Maybe I shouldn't go to Seattle with you? If the board is worried about image, then absolutely not. Ethan turned to her. We won't make decisions based on their discomfort. If they have real issues, we'll address them. But we won't hide, pretend, or retreat just because some board members don't like that their CEO has a personal life. Ethan, I'm serious, Olivia said. I'm willing to compromise for work and the board, but this, that's us. And it's not up for discussion. She looked at him, the man who publicly defended her, navigated corporate games with skill, and refused to let circumstances dictate his decisions, even when giving up would have been easier. All right, she said softly. But promise me, you'll tell me if this becomes a real problem, if choosing me starts costing you something important. For me, the priority is building a company I can be proud of, with people I trust. You're part of that team. The board will figure it out sooner or later. The next morning at 7 a.m., Astis. Message arrived from Ethan. Ethan, board in an hour. Wish me luck. Olivia, you don't need luck. You have facts, documents, and moral right on your side. Still, good luck. Ethan, you're my favorite person. We'll talk later. Olivia tried to focus on work, but every email felt like a distraction from the thought of what was happening behind the boardroom doors. At 10:30 a.m., Zoe burst into her office without knocking. Did you hear? What? The meeting just ended. Ethan came out. He looked, I don't know how to describe it, determined, fierce. Everything was intense. Olivia's phone rang. Ethan, I need to see you. Can you come to my office right now? Urgent. She nearly ran to the elevator, her mind spiraling through the scariest possible scenarios. Had they condemned him? Demanded he end the relationship? Threatened to remove him as CEO? When she entered, Ethan was standing by the window, hands in his pockets, staring out at the city. What happened? She asked. He turned, exhaustion, irritation, determination, and something unreadable mixing across his face. The board issued me an ultimatum. Olivia's heart froze. What kind of ultimatum? Either I step down as CEO, or I sign a moral clause that essentially gives them veto power over my personal relationships. What? 3 board members think my judgment has compromised my relationship with you, that it's a distraction, and sets a dangerous precedent for the company. He laughed bitterly. One even used the phrase, preserving professional dignity. What are you going to do? He approached her and took her hands. I told them to prepare the paperwork. Olivia's stomach dropped. The moral clause? No, my resignation. What? I won't sign a document that hands control of my personal life to anyone, and I'm not stepping down as CEO. I told them I was willing to leave, but only if they buy my shares at fair market value, that I retain all intellectual property rights on projects I personally developed, and that my departure is publicly framed as voluntary, not performance-related. Olivia stared at him, trying to process it. You're really willing to walk away? If they're serious, yes, but here's the thing. They're not. Or at least, not all of them. He smiled slightly. 2 board members left immediately after I made my counterproposal. They thought I was bluffing, trying to control the situation, not genuinely standing my ground. Now they realize, first, I'm not bluffing, and second, buying me out will cost them roughly $40 million plus losing the CEO who built this company. And now? Now they have 48 hours to either accept my terms, withdraw the ultimatum entirely, or call my bluff. I'm betting they'll back down. And if they don't, then I leave. I have enough savings to start over, build something new, maybe even figure out what I truly want in life, beyond quarterly reports. Ethan, you can't just walk away from everything you've built. I'm not walking away. I'm refusing to let them weaponize it against me. There's a difference. He gently squeezed her hands. Olivia, I love this company. I've put 8 years of my life into it, but I won't let it be used to control my personal decisions. That's not the company I want to lead. All because of me? If we hadn't met, they'd have found something else to control. That's what boards do when they feel they're losing influence. They push boundaries. I'm just showing them mine. Olivia pulled her hands away and stepped to the window. You're really ready to leave Apex? For me? I'm willing to leave for the principle that my personal life is mine. As long as I'm not breaking laws or corporate rules, you're part of it. But this is bigger than just us. She turned to him. What if it ruins everything? Your reputation, your career? Then I'll rebuild, but I won't compromise what matters to me. He stepped closer. I know this is scary. I know it's a lot. If you want to step back until this is resolved, say it. No, she cut the distance between them. If you're willing to risk everything for principle, I won't back down just because it's complicated. We're in this together, with these ridiculous ultimatums and everything else. He hugged her, and she felt some of the tension leave his shoulders. I need to be a bold CEO, making loud statements, he whispered into her hair. You shouldn't have had to deal with this corporate drama. Too late. I'm already in it. We both are. His phone vibrated. He glanced at the screen and showed her. Board meeting resumes today at 4 p.m. Attendance requested. We want to discuss alternative solutions. Alternative solutions? Olivia read aloud. Sounds like they're backing down. They tested my bluff and realized it wasn't a bluff. Ethan slipped his phone into his pocket. 4 p.m. will be interesting. At 4 p.m., Ethan entered the boardroom with the kind of confidence that comes from knowing all the cards are in your hand. The board chairman looked far less confident. Ethan, thank you for coming. We've revisited our previous discussion. I thought so, given how quickly you scheduled a follow-up meeting. Perhaps we acted hastily. The board has discussed it and believes we can find a more reasonable solution that satisfies everyone. I'm listening. The chairman glanced at his colleagues before continuing. We are prepared to completely remove the morality clause. We acknowledge that your personal life is your business as long as it does not interfere with professional duties or violate corporate rules, which, as we've confirmed, it does not. That's correct, Ethan replied tersely. Our investigation confirms it, the chairman agreed. However, we would like to request more transparency regarding major decisions that could be perceived as conflicts of interest, not for approval, just for notification and documentation. Ethan considered. Major decisions. Would that mean promotions, terminations, or significant budget allocations affecting someone close to him? We are not asking for veto power, they continued. Just advance notice and a documented decision-making process. Reasonable, Ethan said. I already do this via HR. Formalizing the process makes sense. The chairman exhaled with relief. Then it's settled. You remain CEO. We will implement the transparency protocol and close this matter. One condition, Ethan added. This does not happen again. If the board has questions about my leadership, we discuss them directly. No ultimatums, no attempts to use my personal life as leverage. We're adults. We can communicate like adults. A few board members shifted nervously in their seats. Agreed, said the chairman. No ultimatums. Ethan stood, extending his hand. Deal. I'll have my assistant send the updated protocols for review. He left the boardroom with his position intact, his principles defended, and his argument proven. Back at the office, he immediately messaged Olivia. Crisis averted. I'm still CEO. The board backed down. Victory dinner, my treat. You earned it. Deal. I'll pick you up at 7. That evening, they went to a small Italian restaurant. No corporate politics, no boardroom ultimatums. So you just threatened them, Olivia said, twirling her fork in carbonara. And they backed down. They backed down because buying me out would have been a financial disaster. Finding a new CEO who knows the company as well would take months. It was a calculated risk based on knowing your own value. That's either genius or madness. A little of both, he said, sipping his wine. But it set an important precedent. I'm CEO because I'm good at it, not because I let them control my life. That precedent is worth keeping. Do you know what was best today? Olivia asked. What? Realizing we'll be okay, not perfect. Challenges will come, but we can handle them. Corporate drama, ultimatums, public scrutiny. We didn't run when things got serious. We just solved it. We're a great team, Ethan agreed, in the office and out. By the way, the Seattle conference is in 3 weeks. Am I really speaking there? If you want. I already registered you as a speaker. Topic: data-driven marketing strategies in competitive markets. The organizers approved immediately. You signed me up without asking? I just provided your info and portfolio. They approved based on merit. I only helped with the introduction. Olivia shook her head, smiling. You're impossible. You always say it like it's a bad thing. No, it's just you're confident, a little arrogant, and somehow always right. Not always. Name one time you were wrong. The sci-fi movie you made me watch last week. I thought it would be good based on the reviews. It was awful. All right, fair. The physics were terrible. Physics was the least of the problems. They finished dinner, walked back to Olivia's apartment, and spent the rest of the evening perfectly, normally, with their characteristic complexity, happy. When Ethan left around midnight, Olivia stopped him at the door. Thank you, she said, for today, for not giving up. For risking everything for what you believe in. I didn't risk everything, he replied. I just didn't want to compromise on what really matters. He kissed her gently. You matter. What we have matters. The board can accept it. Or look for a new CEO. They're lucky you're so good at your job. I'm lucky you're so good at yours. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. After he left, Olivia sat on the couch with a cup of tea, thinking about wrong numbers and the right people, about how sometimes the universe just throws chaos at you to see what you'll do with it. Her phone rang. Ethan, home safe. Already missing you. Is this too much? Olivia, very much, but I allow it. Ethan, Seattle in 3 weeks, my public debut as a CEO's girlfriend, who also happens to be a marketing genius. Olivia, no pressure, of course. Ethan, you've handled everything life threw at you. You'll handle the conference too. Olivia, we'll see. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Olivia. Sweet dreams. She smiled, set the phone down, and went to bed thinking that maybe, just maybe, they could handle it all. 3 weeks until Seattle. 3 weeks until everything goes even more public. 3 weeks until the next test. But for tonight, everything was perfectly complicated and wonderful. The skyscrapers of Seattle looked postcard perfect as Olivia stood at her hotel window, trying to remember how to breathe. In 4 hours, she'd present her marketing strategies to 300 industry professionals, half of whom probably knew she was dating her company's CEO. You're panicking, Zoe said from the other bed. No, I'm mentally preparing. That's catastrophizing. There's a difference. Zoe came over and turned Olivia away from the window. Your results speak for themselves. Your work speaks for itself. The only people who care about your personal life are the ones whose opinions don't matter at all. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. Ethan's voice from outside. It's me. Can I come in? Zoe let him in and announced, I'm getting coffee. Be back in 20. Alone, Ethan walked over and took Olivia's hands. You're making that worried face. Again. What if people come out of curiosity because of us? They'll stay because you're genuinely brilliant at your work. He squeezed her hands. I've seen your presentation. It's exceptional. Yes, some will come out of curiosity, but they'll stay because you're truly skilled. You need to say that to yourself. I am saying it because it's true. Your session starts at 2 p.m. I'll be in the front row, asking tough questions to show I won't go easy on you. That's your support? It's my way of showing everyone our professional relationship is exactly that, professional. He kissed her on the forehead. You'll be fine. The conference hall was packed. Every seat was taken. People were standing in the aisles. At exactly 2 p.m., Olivia began. Good afternoon. Today I'll walk you through strategies that increase digital engagement by 340% and revenue by 28%. These aren't theories. These are practical, proven methods with measurable results. She switched to the first slide. How many of you work with tight budgets, tight deadlines, and unrealistically high expectations? Almost everyone raised a hand and the room laughed. Exactly. Welcome to modern marketing. So, how do you achieve outstanding results with limited resources? For the next 45 minutes, Olivia commanded the room. Real examples, hard data, actionable insights. She held everyone captive. Then Ethan raised his hand. You mentioned a 340% increase in engagement. What's your conversion rate? Does high engagement translate into real business results? Here it came, the tough question. Excellent question, Olivia replied, bringing up the conversion metrics. Our conversion rate among engaged users is 23%, compared to 8% among disengaged users. Engaged users have a 31% higher lifetime value. Engagement isn't just a vanity metric, it identifies valuable customers early. Ethan nodded, taking notes, just like everyone else. When she finished, the applause was genuine and loud. People approached with questions, business cards, real curiosity. No one mentioned Ethan, everyone wanted to talk strategy. That was incredible, Zoe said as the room emptied. Ethan approached last. One of the best presentations at this conference. You made complex strategies accessible. That's rare. Thank you for the tough question. It let you prove your authority. He looked around the room. Now they were alone. Dinner tonight to celebrate? Sounds perfect. 2 weeks later, at home, Olivia received a text from an unknown number. Unknown, the thought repeated in her mind as she read, Hi Olivia, Marcus Chen from Innovate Tech. Attended your session. Brilliant work. Would love to discuss a consulting proposal. Here's my card. Over breakfast, she showed Ethan. Marcus Chen, marketing director at one of our biggest competitors. He responded calmly. Not a small matter. I don't want to interfere, but you should at least hear him out. Know your market value. You're encouraging me to talk to competitors? I'm encouraging you to make thoughtful career decisions. If you stay at Apex, and I hope you do, let it be because it's the best move for your career, not because of me. The meeting happened a week later. Marcus offered a senior director role with a significant raise and stock options. Generous, Olivia said cautiously. Thank you, you deserve it. Give me 2 weeks to decide. That evening, she told Ethan everything. Good offer, he said. Better than we can currently provide. You're not going to try to persuade me to keep you, right? I want you to stay, but because you want to. He looked at her seriously. What do you really want, Olivia? She thought for a moment, weighing her words. I want to stay at Apex, continue building what I started, prove I can succeed here, and work somewhere I can meet the CEO without constant drama. Then make a counteroffer. What would make you stay, not just for salary, but for your career? He pressed. She laid out her terms clearly. More autonomy, real budget responsibility, a seat in strategic planning, and, softening the pause, a clear roadmap to VP within 2 years if KPIs were met. Done, he nodded. You earned autonomy through results. Your contributions pay off. I'm giving you the budget. You're already in strategy, and the VP track is exactly where you were headed. I'll formalize it. The board will see specifics. This isn't favoritism. It's retaining exceptional talent. How can I be sure? She asked. Because I advise you to meet with the competitor, not guilt you or manipulate. I want you at Apex as an asset, not because of a relationship. She looked at the man who refused to let their connection overshadow her achievements. All right, Olivia said. I'll stay on these terms. Welcome to your new role, Senior Director with a VP track. 6 months later, Olivia sat in her new office, reviewing the first quarter results. Her campaigns had exceeded forecasts once again. Engagement up by 412%, conversions up by 31%, and revenue contribution up by 43%. There was a knock on the door. Ethan entered and closed the door behind him. The board reviewed your quarterly data. They're impressed. That's good. Really good. They're asking if we should clone you. He leaned back in the chair. You've proven everything that needed proving. No one questions your position anymore. So, less paranoia? She smiled, a cautious hope in her eyes. I think we've earned a break. The focus has shifted to your results, not our relationship. This is what I wanted, to be known for your work. Mission accomplished. He stood, about to leave, but, stopped. Dinner tonight. I'm cooking. You cook? I can follow a recipe and not burn down the kitchen. Consider it an achievement. 7 o'clock. She smiled. And bring that case study you're working on. I want your opinion. After Ethan left, Olivia looked out at the city from her window. 6 months ago, she'd been sending furious texts to the wrong numbers. Now, she was a senior director on track for VP, dating the CEO, and somehow, it was working. Her phone buzzed. Ethan, I forgot to say, my mom wants to meet you for dinner this weekend. Olivia, your mom, who beat cancer? He asked, surprised. Yes, that one. She's going to ask a million questions and pull out embarrassing childhood photos. Perfect. I need some dirt. What time, Ethan? I'm already regretting agreeing to this. A year passed, and Olivia sat in the boardroom, not as a guest, but as the vice president of digital strategy. She'd fought for this position against 5 candidates, 3 external, 2 internal, 1 based purely on merit. It was a unanimous decision. Congratulations, Vice President Bennett, the chairman of the board said. We're thrilled with your new role. After the meeting, she returned to her new office and sat down, unable to believe her eyes. 18 months ago, she had sent angry messages about quitting. Now she was VP. Her phone rang. Ethan? Vice President Bennett, how does it feel? Surreal, amazing, terrifying. You've earned it. I know. And it's the best. Dinner tonight at some fancy place. We're celebrating this milestone. Sounds perfect. That evening, at one of the city's most exclusive restaurants, they marked the moment as it should be. After dinner, while walking along the waterfront, Olivia stopped. When I sent that text by mistake, I felt lost and undervalued. I almost didn't send it. But you sent it to the one person who needed to receive it. She took his hands. You changed my life, Ethan. Not by giving me opportunities, I earned those myself, but by believing I could earn them. You did the hardest part. Maybe, but you made it possible. They stood there, looking out over the water, 2 people who'd found each other through the chaos. So, what now? Olivia asked. We keep going. We move forward, as CEO and VP, who are also dating. How long? How about forever? That sounds horrifically cheesy, but it's true. He kissed her. You're stuck with me, with the wrong number and everything. Best wrong number ever. 6 months later, Olivia was on rotation in the operations department of her leadership development program when her assistant called. Mr. Callahan wants to see you when you have a moment. She stood, wondering what this could be about. He was standing by the window, nervously looking out at something. Is everything okay? She asked. Yeah, I need to ask you something, he said, running a hand through his hair. We've been together almost 2 years. We've survived the chaos, the board's ultimatums, the public scrutiny, and how I ate your clearly marked leftovers. Are you seriously bringing up the leftovers during a serious conversation? Context. We've been through all of this together, with dignity and patience despite my occasional idiotic moments. What are you getting at? He stepped closer, taking her hands in his. I love you. I've loved you since that first coffee meeting. I want to spend my life with you, through careers, chaos, and everything else that comes our way. He pulled out a small box and knelt down. Olivia Bennett, will you marry me? You're proposing in the office? I know it's not the most romantic. This is perfect. This is us. She pulled him toward her and kissed him. Yes, of course I will. He slid the ring on her finger, a simple, elegant piece, exactly her style. We need to notify HR, she said, her voice still shaky. Already scheduled for today. I've got it all planned. Of course you have. 1 year later. Olivia stood in the garden, Zoe adjusting her veil. Stop fidgeting. You look perfect. What if I trip? Then Ethan will think it's adorable. Relax. The music began to play. Olivia walked down the aisle, her eyes meeting Ethan's. He was crying. She didn't trip. She reached his hands. Hey, she whispered. Hey, you look incredible. You're crying. I can't help it. They exchanged vows they had written themselves. Olivia, Ethan said, his voice thick with emotion. When you texted me that day, you changed my life. You reminded me that love is worth fighting for. I promise to always reply to your messages, support your career, and love you exactly as you are. Brilliant, stubborn, and quoting movies. Her turn. Ethan, I sent that text on my hardest professional day. Instead of running, I found you. You believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. I promise to be honest, challenge you when needed, and love you for exactly who you are. Ambitious, nerdy, and annoyingly always right. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. As they walked down the aisle together, Olivia caught Zoe's eye. Her best friend was crying, giving her a thumbs up. During their first dance, Ethan whispered, How does it feel, Mrs. Callahan? Weird, good, weird. Professionally, I'm still Bennett. Bennett Callahan sounds great, very progressive for a CEO like you. Thanks for sending that wrong number. Best mistake I ever made. 5 years later. Olivia stood in the conference room, presenting the 5-year strategic plan. AI expansion will allow us to capture 35% more of the market, all while maintaining our ethical standards. Unanimously approved. She walked to her corner office, windows on 2 sides, the city sprawling beneath her. Ethan, how did it go? Olivia, unanimous approval. I knew it. Dinner tonight. Your turn to cook. I'll order pizza. That's not cooking, but I'll take it. That's why I married you. See you at 7. Love you. Love you more. She looked around the office. 5 years ago, it was all hate-filled messages. Now, vice president on her way to CEO, married, truly happy. Life had been tough, but it had all worked out. She sent a message to Zoe. Olivia, remember when I accidentally texted the CEO? Zoe, that's the best story ever. Just wanted to say thank you for convincing me not to delete that message. Always love you, future CEO. Olivia opened the next project, an international expansion proposal. 5 years ago, wrong number. Now, exactly where she was meant to be.